Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel. I pre-taped a bunch of junk journal January videos before I left on my little junket to Colorado, and of course got back and found that I have fallen behind. So I've been working like a little fiend to try to get some of this stuff caught up because sometimes if we fall behind, it seems to provide the perfect excuse for dropping something altogether, and I don't want that to happen. So, welcome. I am so grateful that you're here. So let's do a little bit of catch up. So maybe you saw the video where I made this little handful, literally a handful, and I added a pocket, and this is where I keep the prompt list. It almost turned into a piece of origami. I had to fold it several times before I could make it fit. Okay, so I think, yeah, I had done 5. Just a quick recap if you didn't see them. This was day 1, resolutions. And I believe I said that I don't do that. Number 2 was quote, and this is one that you may have heard me say before: a creative mess is better than tidy idleness. And this, I guess in hindsight, does look like a creative mess, doesn't it? But I love the idea of sort of a ransom note type effect. This was number 3, throwback, and what is more of a throwback than, a girl with a flouncy skirt, cap sleeves. No, not cap sleeves. What are these called? Anyway, those poofy sleeves. An old, what is this? Can't make it out. Mercury, maybe? I don't know. Jukebox, and of course, float. Her name is Babs. Daily log. This was all about numbers, forms, and sometimes the exasperation we feel when we are maybe tracking some good habits like, glasses of water, minutes or miles on the treadmill, calories, books read, that sort of thing. A lot of people in the comments, seem to love this lady, and maybe I guess that's probably where we're all headed. This opened up and said, "Believe it, high expectations are the key to everything." And the prompt here was tuck spot. Okay, this is where we're getting into, maybe I'll just go like this. This is, this is a step back in time. I photocopied a picture of myself and my 2 sisters. There's Hazel. And this is 1960. The picture was taken in 1964. So what I did here was, because this page already had these blue markings from some, I guess that would have been some, I don't even know how I did it anymore. Anyway, I found this paper. I did some additional stamping just through a piece of Punchinello, like so. And also used another stencil to get more of that turquoisey color in there. Found this in a little book of punch outs, tore the edges so it looks more like a ticket stub. Thought that memory inherently or innately usually would involve time. I mean, a calendar page would have worked as well. Used part of this paper doily because, of course, the colors worked. This is pretty well, other than the black drop shadows that I added, this is pretty well the only black on the page, so I did a little tinge of blue around. This was just a little sticker that I found. And as I said, it lacked some depth, so I added these drop shadows behind some of these stamped background. In these are actual ticket holes that got punched out. And this one, of course, was memory. And you can see that this kid had Well, number one, I'm not sure why I'm petting a cat. The cats are not my favorite. The barrette, the cat eye glasses. I've had glasses for a long, long time. Okay, this one was number 7, which is stitched. So I was in... no, I'm not going to make excuses for anything. It is what it is. I was looking through some stuff that was just kicking around. I had these die cuts. This is like the negative of believe. So I used... where is the remainder of it? Anyway, if you saw my Happy Mail opening from Carol at Crinkled Path, you know that there was a bunch of... it's disappeared. There were a bunch of sewing notions included in there, including one of those little paper bobbins with some thread. Excuse me. So I stitched around it. Oh, she had also sent a number of maps of Canada. So this, I guess I imagine, well, they are obviously facing. So I thought, well, okay, let's work in still some of the, the neutrals and the blues. So there was a blue Alberta. I fussy tore around that. This happened to be blue, although I added some ink shadows. And this is part of a digital of mine of a piece of linen. And I did faux stitching around here, around the entire perimeter. And I deliberately left the edges a bit ragged because why not? Anyway, sorry, I'm using this piece of piano paper and it barely fits my camera area. So anyway, this, I love these cat eye glasses. The other side of them was actually a blue pattern, but it didn't work, so I used the cardstock side. So, okay, I've told you about all... This is a dictionary page at the bottom. And then I thought, well, I've got this gap in the corner. Is that a bit of glue residue? Shouldn't be. Anyway, I found this snippet thing that I had made. This is a sheer fabric, some kind of a little part that had been cut off. And of course, who doesn't love a little copper mesh? And I had stitched this. I hope that's stitching, not a staple. Yeah, I had hand stitched that, so I figured it qualified. And the colors are, I believe, work together. Okay, then the next one for the 9th was foliage. Oh, yeah, that's stitched. Okay, so foliage. Sorry, my thing is shifting here. This was a page that I had bound into the book. And I thought, okay, I'm not opposed to having half the work done for me, so why don't I just build on that? And I do have, where is it? Let me show you. Oh, I'm probably going to hit the camera arm. I do have this book, and I was thinking, I bought another one while we were out of the country, which was perhaps a mistake. But anyway, this one is called The Botanist Sticker Anthology by DK. And it's got all of these images. So if I find one that I need, I just cut it out. And then, of course, fussy cut around to get rid of that really wide white border. Anyway, I wanted a variety of foliage. And I just took the pruning shears to this. I didn't want those skinny little stems, so I just grouped the 3 leaves by themselves. Thought it needed a bit of lightening up, so this is some sort of a fern that I just broke into 3 sections. And then I thought, well, okay, obviously we need an insect of some sort, so that's a ladybug. Then I needed something to ground it, and I just used a digital tag the word foliage and the date written around. Now, I could have centered that better, I suppose, but hey. And then the other one, and you'll notice that I flip around. It's not necessarily in sequential order, but I, choose the page that I think is going to work the best. Now, you'll see that because the pages are different sizes, things show. But, isn't that the beauty of homemade or handmade? Okay, the final one that I did to sort of get caught up, because this was the 9th, I think, when I was doing this last night, is neutral. So I had a piece, okay, this was part of the same piano roll. Now, with this same, now you can see a tinge of that green there. You can see that I had folded this in when I originally bound the book because, excuse me, why cut it off? Same dictionary page I'm still using. So I laid this down first, and you can see, or maybe, well, you can see it's pretty fragile. I had gotten that Tim Holtz Christmas 2023 package, so I figured, well, I'm leaving those people near me so that I actually use them. This, believe it or not, is part of the blonde hairnet that came from Carol. It doesn't take much to rip these things apart, let me tell you. Anyway, so there's some texture there. There's part of that same doily. This came from the freebie that came from Meg Journals. This was a tag that I found that worked together. That's kind of a ticket that I have on a roll. Now, of course, I had to cover this, and I had to cover this. There was a smidge of the green showing, but that's okay. I used a tag and just added the prompt and the date there. And because this was so fragile, I found a neutral washi tape. Didn't know when I really like it. It's got these dogs on it. Didn't know when I would use it, but I figured I'd better reinforce that fold or it will break right off. And then I just wrote neutral there, and I had attempted to use my, in the beginning I was using this thing. But because of lumpiness and bumpiness, and I didn't want to dig for my stays on ink pad, I just used gathered twigs and several attempts, and it was barely, legible. So I just gave up on that. And there you have it, my lovelies. Okay, what's upcoming? Layered, eclectic, and so on and so on. But I just, as I said, wanted to get a start. Well, not a start. I wanted to catch up so that I kept on, kind of being relevant to there's a certain there's a certain personal satisfaction in starting something and completing it, as we all know. So that is it for today. I'm still playing catch up. I still need to, I got a bunch, which is lovely. I got a bunch of Happy Mail movement envelopes, a couple that were, that were just there late December, a few that were in the mail when we got home. And actually, after I did the video, a couple more came in the mail. So I just love that these things are coming. I don't know, did something happen in Texas? There are a few from people in Texas. So that is absolutely awesome. But now I have probably maybe 8 or more that I need to, get my butt in gear and get into the mail. So I have that. And of course, I do want to take part in Caroline from Caroline's Craft Tree, the tag concertina journal that will be like an ongoing project for the entire year. So I've printed the freebie, I fussy cut the freebie. It's just a matter of buckling down and getting it done. And of course, before we get much further into January, I also need to do my first month for Carry the Paper Monkeys Vision Board Junk Journal. And of course, you know, that takes, you may have seen that. Let me just quickly show you. I think, yeah, it's right here. This was an old, I don't know what language that is. That's something from the, Berlin. This is an altered book. I showed part of that process. And then, well, I showed the gluing of these pages. And you can see that where I clipped them to get, you know, good bondage, I've got some waves going on. So I'm hoping, well, I guess they're not going to disappear, but look at these. Look at those marks. That will eventually be covered with something. I had, prior to the video, I had gessoed the pages that were already done, but I've got my gallon of gesso just waiting for the time to get a few more done. Because I don't want, it's rather a slow process, because of course you can't just quickly go through gesso everything, because they'll all stick to each other. So it's a sort of a phased in operation. But yeah, I was kind of, you know, it takes, this will probably, I don't know, do I give a whole spread to the month? I have enough pages to do that. Maybe I should push myself and make 1 month a double spread. So this is, and again, I don't want to scare anyone off for trying, including myself, or from starting. But I guess January, you know, it was just years of brainwashing and tradition. We look at January as the start of our year and our, you know, new beginnings, that kind of thing. So I would like to take the time and effort to do this properly, or, well, I guess nobody's judging properly, but to do it, like, to be proud of what I've done and happy with what I've done. So stay tuned. That's all I'll say. Stay tuned, because I don't know just yet what's happening. Okay, guys, we will stop there. And I don't know about you, but I've got lots to keep me occupied for the rest of the day, and the week, and the month, and the year. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.